this child, and they have a big old party. Yeah, when you get hurt and you walk, what the devil want, what the enemy want, he want isolation. The man that the enemy came to steal, to kill, and to destroy. And when you are, it's very easy for you to be taken down.
Good morning, good afternoon, whenever this message reaches you. I have the pleasure of speaking to Solomon Okong, a pastor of DuPont Church. He is a life coach, counselor, a marriage counselor, individual. I just spent the last 15 minutes speaking to him before I just jumped on the recording. Really nice guy. He comes from Guyana, and his goal as a child, he just wanted to play soccer, but now he's a pastor and he's helping out so many different people with through different struggles, and I think God had a calling for him. How you doing today, Solomon? Well, I'm doing very well. It's a pleasure to speak with you, and might as well just jump right in. Why did you become a pastor?
Well, it's a calling. Pastor is not something that you just wake up one day and say, I want to be a pastor. Because it comes with a big responsibility, very huge responsibility. You have whose life that has been entrusted into your hands. And not only that, but you also have to answer to God in that you do. If you mislead people, you are in big trouble. But it is a in my life or all my life for a very, very long time. I may also couple with vision or prophecies that came through in my life. And yeah, I was asked to go into the seminary. So I grew up in a church that had all the things I would need to be the pastor. But I took off and ran away because I just, like you do the introduction, I want to be a soccer player. And once I'll be famous, rich, and when I'm done, and I'll just coach. And that story, everything's written for me according to my own plans, right? But God has different plans for me. I never feel the ease and the joy and the peace that I need in my life, even though I was working, even when I came to work in a place, in an ambulance building factory, I was there over there. I have about 25 people that were under me in the welding department. And I did that was almost 10 years whilst I was pastoring on the side as well. But you go, yeah, you help people, you teach people, you train people to build and feel accomplished, but you don't feel the peace in your heart because you are missing what you actually need to do. So yeah, I just decided to throw in the towel and just jump all in. I'm a person that if I'm into something, I'm 100% in, 110%. If I'm not, I'm not. So I just decided to go all in and be there, try to help as many people as me, and also teach as many, counsel, coach, lead as many as God allows me to lead. So the not
So you were born in Guyana. When did you leave when you were how old were you? And how was it, the experience of actually leaving your home behind to venture out?
okay. Well, just a little correction. I was born in Ghana, which is Ghana.
I appreciate
Uh,
that. I appreciate you fixing it.
no problem.
Sorry.
Yeah. So I left when I was around 26 years of age. I moved to Europe and I was over in Denmark for about a week and a half. Playing a soccer tournament over there. Then afterwards, I moved to Italy and I lived there for about 5.5 years. Spent 6 months in Sweden. Moved back to Italy again. So it was through the very off to do, which is soccer. That's the reason why I left my country in the first place. And I will tell you, it's not easy leaving your family behind, all that you used to, all you know, your comfort zone, leaving behind and going to a country unknown, different language you are not used to, different food, culture wise, different culture. it's different. I mean, the first couple months of me living in it was not easy to adapt to a lifestyle and the culture, the food. It wasn't easy. But as time goes on, you get you get an idea that I'm here, so I must well try to live life, trying to think about going back home because it's not gonna time soon. So yeah, as time goes on, I adapt. Like human beings, adaptable people anyway. So I adapt to the situation. That is where I am now. And I used to be in Ghana, in Africa, but now I'm here now. I have to make new friends, new family, new church family, or all the rest that came with it. So yeah, it wasn't easy from the get go. But as time goes on, the
It definitely it does help, and I appreciate you correcting me. Ghana. I appreciate that. I again, I apologize for mispronouncing the country. The when you actually came here and after you let go, were you still playing football when you came over to America, or did you stop playing football when you were over in Europe?
yeah, I so there's a story. The the reason why I actually stopped, it's I was getting a lot of hamstrings. I remember one of my coaches I was playing back in Italy. He said you are too fast. You need to slow down. And I said, "Hey, I was born and made this way. I can change that fact. But I know there is something deeper that I've been called to do than run away from it. And sometimes I try to relate my story to the story of Job. Try to run away from God because you have been given a mission. Run so far because God is omnipresent. So I stopped playing before I moved to the States. I mean, like not in a higher scale, just playing to play amateur league with some older folk who are my age, some people are not, just lesser skill, just to keep it. But when I came, I was tempted as well to continue playing, but the things that followed me never left. So yeah, when I came here, I mean, currently I still play in small leagues in like Fort Wayne, Indiana. And also here in Lima, Ohio, I play indoor soccer. But summertime, I play on a league in Forward, Indiana. But nothing serious. Just something to keep in shape. I know it's a competition. At the end of the day, we play for trophies and stuff, which my team have won the last two trophies that we have played. Yeah, so I still not very, very competitive. I mean, it's in kind of ways competitive, but not like what I used to. Now, but now I feel fulfilled because that's not a primary thing I'm doing. That just that secondary, I might say, thing that I do now just to stay healthy. Yeah. So I still play a little bit.
How has it been for you when you started to change that trajectory and accepted the one that you have been called to do?
Well, I mean, the road was a little bit, I would say, tough. I mean, when you are changing something from the get go, you are not fully immersed into it. It takes time. And also I have to go through training and go through school and all those other 9 years that came with it. But by then I was associate pastor at the church where was I was educating myself at the same time. I was working at the same time too. So it was a little tough. Sometimes I get home and I'll be studying. I'll just fall asleep, tired, just from working and life, have wife and kids, and so there was a lot that was going on. So yeah, it took time. It took time for me to fully grasp why, and it changed just like changing a course. It's you have mentally wise. You have to change that. Okay, this is I have to leave this behind and grab a hold of this here because this is the direction I'm going to. But with time, it helps. With time, it helps that it is I find the direction I'm heading, and that's where I have to put my focus, put 110% in But yeah, it wasn't easy from the get go, but now it's getting a little bit better.
It definitely is a journey when you decide to course correct to the calling, like the thing that we've been resisting for a while, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, I guess I'm actually going to give into this thing. It could be quite taxing, but also quite adventurous.
Yes, yes, you're right. And I like adventure. I'm by nature I'm an adventurous person. I prefer to climb the mountains than walk up.
Well, so I know that you have wrote 2 books. You have 2 in the works right now. What made you decide to become a writer, and what were you hoping to achieve with writing?
Well, something that writing itself, I might say, is something that it has been calling for a long time. But since I was running away from it, I really venture into writing. I remember back in Africa, and I stay in my little one bedroom, and I would stay up at night, and I would just be writing stuff that I have to write. I would take biblical Bible verse and I write stuff about it, try to break it down, try to relate it to my life and those kind of stuff. And I would stay up all night. I would write those that I put aside. I write those I put aside. This has been, I might say, if I look back now, I left my country. That's 8 ago. I left my country. Actually, going to be 19 in July, and that was back then. Those kind of stuff. So between this gap in life, I I stopped writing, even though I still teach and preach. People invite me to preach at revivals, so I was associate pastor at a church, and I still write stuff. But to write a book, I I believe that I've been called to help people to reach the whole wide world with God, and also to encourage people through life experiences per se. And that's one of the mediums that reach people, and you can leave impact for the rest of your life. I read a book. It's been a long time. I was a teenager by then, and it said for an impact or leave a legacy behind in this world. And they said they interviewed about 3 or 5 older people that are in their late 80s and 90s, and they all said that for you to leave a legacy behind to impact the next generation or impact generations to come, one of the things that you can do is for you to write a book, tree, or have children, right? That's what I read. I forgot what a book. I don't remember what a book is. I don't even know if it was an article or, but I know I read it somewhere. It's been many years ago. So yeah, I look at my life journey that I've taken. So like my first book that I wrote, which I have a copy here. You can see life, walking a Christian path, biblical compass. So it's my own personal journey, people that I've met in my life, the journeys that I have embarked, and how those lives can influence others to help them. I know in life we all have different roads that we are on, and these roads sometimes has bumps and have hills. If people that live in West Virginia or the Carolinas or Montana, those places, they have more mountains. Their roads is more. You are climbing, you are descending. If you live in this part of Ohio, where I live in north part of Ohio, the roads are flat because it's all flat grounds. So someone who is driving is not going to be climbing more hills and mountains. So, and you live in a place you sure there's more wind, because guess what? You have more wind coming from the ocean. And or narratives or illustrations of life itself. And the book that I wrote, I talked about the traveling systems that we have in our current world that we live in, which is we have airplane that people travel with, airplane, because guess what? Travel from Africa to Europe to the States, you have airplane. That's the only option. The only way, I might say, you can reach your destination quicker. And you have turbulence. It's not a smooth ride all the time. Sometimes the plane will be shaking, and you think that it's coming. The plane is gonna drop down from the skies, but it doesn't drop. It always takes you to a destination. The same way we are traveling a vehicle, we have these bumps on the road. We have things that we face. Traveling in the ocean, the waves will be moving. But at the end of the day, this is life itself. We face difficulty, but we have to keep persevering. That's my first motive of writing. What I want to achieve is I want to help the people. Like I say, I'm a life coach, I'm a pastor as well, and I'm a leader in society, a place where I live. And so I want to I want people to know that a life that they are living is not a mistake, and whatever they are going through, it's not it. At the end of the day, there is always a way out. So to help people to keep walking, to keep pushing, to keep persistent, to keep pressing on. So that's my motive for writing. And almost just like other books that I write. My second book is right here too, which I have a picture of right here. I have a copy. You can see only live once plus one, which is encouragement for believers to know or human beings to know that upon here, the now, we have something greater and bigger waiting for us. So in a nutshell, this is the reason why I write. And like you said, I have more on the works that are coming, which covers perspective. Someone growing up in a broken family that seems like there's no hope for them at all, but there is always a way. Sometimes we 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 fail because we see ourselves as failures. Sometimes we don't achieve things because we just narrow ourselves to where we are. We see ourselves as the world that we live in is the only one that exists, but actually it's not. The world that we live in is bigger. It's not the confines that we live in is not only the world. The world is bigger. We can't put ourselves in a prison. We can't put ourselves in a wall. Last, I was telling a couple that I was doing the counseling with, and this lady was telling me about how she has been hurt, and she try to push people away. And I told her, I said, yeah, sometimes when we go and through pain, what we do, we build walls around us, protect us from getting hurt again because of somebody else hurt us. We have these trust issues. But also what I told the couple and the lady is this. I said, many a time same walls that we built to protect ourselves can become a prison. Become a prison for ourselves that we cannot progress, we can't go nowhere, and we cannot open the door for others to come in because you have been here before. And we have to let to push those walls down and give people opportunity to see what they have to offer. So yeah, this is why I write, to help people through life and things that they might face in the future.
I love the metaphor. I do. It's we build these walls to keep ourselves safe, but that safety becomes too comfortable and too familiar. And then the possibility of actually being hurt creates this hardship to be able to endure. But we also start to become in survival mode and we stop living. It becomes like Groundhog's Day, and we forget about the joys and beauty of everything else that God has given us.
And
It's a beautiful analogy. So the question I got that would be a little bit tough is when a person that has actually strayed away from something that was familiar, let's just say God, and we'll use the prodigal son. How would you tell how would you tell somebody like, hey, I want to actually find my way with God, but I've actually been hurt by the church? What would you say to a person that is actually trying to build a relationship with God?
thank you for that question. Because that question is something that is very common in our society, and people go through those kind of stuff. You know, the, the church is believers and unbelievers. So many a times, people that will head in the church, they are not, but they are church attendees. They attend the church, and that's where we have to try to differentiate. As a pastor myself, have I been helped? Church, my own church people? Yes, I have beheaded my own church people. Let's ask, who betrayed Jesus Christ? One of his disciples. The thing is that the head is going to be someone. In Africa, we always use this metaphor that the bug that is going to bite you is going to be the bug clothing, not the bug that is outside your clothing. It's going to be the one in your clothing. Because guess what? It's far away from me. How is it going to bite me? It's going to be the one right beside me that's going to do that. But the thing also, we also use a metaphor in Africa, which I'm going to use. They say when your child, I'll use this word, your child, for instance, poops. That's what you say in America, poop on your tie or poop on your clothing. You don't take a scissors and cut it off or cut your tie off. You wash it out. You wash it off. You don't cut your tie off. You wash it off. Meaning, there is, even though there's a place in our life we're going, there's also a place for forgiveness. Like you use the part of the prodigal son, something that was not right against his dad. Guess what? The love that he had for the son allowed him to see past what the son has did or what he has done against him. And he forgave the son. He welcomed him in again. And guess what? It gave him, this Bible said, they gave him the best robe and they put a ring on his finger. They took the father's cat and they cooked for this child and they had a big old party. Yeah, when you get hurt and you walked away from the church, what the devil want, what the enemy want, he want isolation. The Bible and that the enemy came to steal, to kill, and to destroy. And when you are, it's very easy for you to be taken down. But when you have people around you, those people can help you. And also, secondly, I mean, one of the books, first book I wrote, I talked about the community. The church is a community, and in the community, there are people who might act bad against you, might dislike you. There are other people that might like you. It's not everybody who's going to dislike you. So when sad things happen in the church, talk to somebody. Talk to the elders of the church. Talk to the pastor of the church. If that pastor is someone who fears God and is called to be in a position, I use the word called because some people are not called. They want to be there for their own gain. But all the Bible wants us, the sheeping, the wolf in sheep clothing, which Jesus Christ told us about this in Matthew chapter 24. This is happening today in our church, in our churches. So the church might do something that will go against you, but it's my prayer that you find your heart to forgive whatever has been done against you and pray that God help you and lead you to the right family where you need to be at. Because if God is leading the way, He will not lead you astray. He's not leading the way, and we go by our own walks of life. We might do that mistake of walking to a place that we are not meant to be. But yes, God wants us to be in the church. This is very clear. I mean, in Hebrews 10, the Bible tells us, gathering of the brethren, as we see the day approach. If church, and we are brothers strongly invest in the word of God, I'll be praying for you. You'll be praying for me. You will tell me what things are bothering you. I'll tell what things are bothering me. And we can pray for each other. We can confess it. And we can try to find solutions to the problems that we are facing. So it's a community. It's a family. If someone is being hurt by the church, always what I tell them is, I'm really sorry. As a servant of the Lord, I'm really sorry that the church is not living upon how they're supposed to live, and they have hurt you so bad. And come and let's talk about it. Because I believe that everything that we can talk about, we can have solution. We can find solution to it. That's what I believe as a pastor. I tell my church folks, my office is always open. If you have any issue, come, let's talk about it. And I believe that if we talk about this issue and you allow God to lead us by the power of the Holy Spirit, we can find solution. But when we allow our fears, we get mad, we get frustrated, then we walk away. So that's the difference. Because guess what? At sometimes in my life, done stuff against me, and I'll get frustrated, but I'll hold my mouth. I'll pray in my heart. Say, God, help me not to let flesh rise above the spirit, but let the spirit, so I can love this person and look past what they're saying, look past the attitude that they are showing towards me, and look at the soul of that you, God, you are interested in. Because if I'm in,
There was a quote that I used to hear: hate the sin, love the sinner. And I feel like that is such a powerful thing because God created the soul, and the flesh is what actually created the sin. The So I wanted to let you know, one of the people that are listening said that she was banished from a church, and she was saying that she appreciated the way that you were able to give that message. Um, by the way, and so it resonated with her. The other question I have for you: what is your perspective of changing the relationship of shame from actually trying to hide it to learning how it creates this type of barrier from getting close to other people, or learning to, yeah, just letting go of it?
the things that shame itself is prison. Shame is a prison, and that when we do stuff that is not right, we cultivate or habit this attitude of shame. And when that happens, it separates us or it pushes away from where we are meant to be. What we need to do is know who we are. Who did God made you to be? Did God just made it for you to live in this kind of life, to live in shame for the rest of your life? Guess what? In life, we all do mistakes. We all do wrong. We make wrong decisions. We say the wrong things and we have to apologize later on. At the end of the day, know you did a mistake. You did something that is not meant to be. So until this year, I told my church that the theme that I want us to embrace is not what I preach on every Sunday, but the theme I want us to hold on to is the word to embrace, meaning to know the position that you are in, the location that you are. Because if I embrace the fact that I'm failing at something, I'm failing, then guess what? I'll try and find a means for me to succeed. If I embrace the fact that I'm not good at something, that I have to try to better myself at that area of my life. If I embrace in the fact that I'm not, there are things that I cannot say right, then guess what? I have to try to practice on it. So the word embrace itself is the thing that our lives is basically built upon. So for us to let go of shame, we have to know that we are not meant to be in this place forever. God doesn't want us to live in this place of want us to progress. He want us to get better. It, to succeed. Guess why? He want us to because listen, it, in Matthew 11:28, Jesus Christ was the one speaking. He said, "Come to me, all those who and are heavy laden, and I'll give you rest." Shame itself is a heavy burden that we carry. It's a heavy load that we are carrying, and we keep laboring. We keep laboring. And if you are laboring, guess what? You get exhausted. If you get exhausted, you cannot achieve nothing. You find yourself in this depressive mode. You get depressed. You feel like I'm not worthy of things. But knowing who you are in Christ makes a big difference. Knowing who you are, God made you. In Genesis 1:28, God has made man on our own image. God made you upon his own image. God wanted to be an ambassador to represent on this earth. So when you do something wrong, that you did does not define you. Who defines you is God. So if you know that God is the one that defines you, it will be easier for you to live. Live, let shame go, and embrace where you are and meant to be. Walk in this journey.
So No, I appreciate that. That was a very well put way of explaining it. And the reason I ask you that is that so many of the people that I've come across, there's a shame aspect or not knowing how to communicate that story or coming back from it, where it becomes this prison. So that's why I was curious about the perspective that the another perspective that I have, what is your perspective about relationships, marriages, and what is the importance of having God in that relationship?
Very important. A fourth book right now, which almost done. I'm the publishers, but I'm not completely done yet. But it's based upon biblical marriage and how we can hold this relationship. Marriage itself, it was instituted by God Himself, and God wants us to live in this union. And the thing is that the marriage is upon two people, right? And you have this man and woman, excuse me, they are married, they procreate. So if the marriage is strong, affects the community. If the community is strong, it affects the county that we live in. If the county is strong, guess what? It affects the state that we live in. If the state is strong, it affects the nation that we live in. If the nations are strong, it affects the universe that we live in. So the institution of marriage is very, very important to God. That's why He officiated first marriage. And everything starts from the marriage. We know the Garden of Eden, God made Adam and Eve. And from there, they had Cain and Abel, and we know what happened. Then Seth came along, and they continue from there. Is that the world stands on. Like I said before, I did a lot of counseling. I've talked to families from broken homes. I studied psychology when I was in school. I always tell people I'm not a psychologist. I studied have credit hours in it, so I have a I studied sociology when I was in my bachelor's degree program, and we can see kids that are coming from broken homes, the struggles that they face. They have this stigma that is attached to them, and they struggle a lot. They have mental health issues because of they don't have family dynamic, the family unit to be there to help them. And it's very, very serious. I had opportunity to grow up in a home where my dad and mom was together. My dad, they were married for a long time. My dad just passed away about 5 years ago. But don't have that. But I see kids that were growing up in my area, and I see the way they relate to people. They are more shy, and they don't want to get involved in stuff or something they compensate. They'll be using maybe food to compensate for some other stuff. Like they were using drugs or or using all the sex addiction or all this kind of stuff. And I have one that I per se that a kid that grew up close to me that his mom divorced. She was only about 70 years when this happened. When she turned the age of around 17, 18, she was prostituted on the streets because she was trying to find self-worth. So these are the things that happen. So marriage is something that is very, very important to me, very important to me. And when I'm doing marriage counseling or premarital counseling, conflict resolution in marriage, I take these things very, very seriously, very, very seriously. I have books on marriage. I like reading books about marriage. I like as I'm writing myself, which I'm almost done, and how we function in marriage, because there are things that I'm writing about, like birth order, how we function. If the woman is older, how did they relate? If the man is the oldest, their birth order, how did they relate? If they are both oldest, how do they relate? And one is middle, one is all this is for the family dynamics, but that with God all things are possible. It can always help. So it's very important we keep God in our marriage, because who instituted marriage, He knows more than we do when it comes to marriage, and this is for Him. So it's very important we keep Him the center of our marriage, and He will help us. And when I tell my wife all the time when something happens, what I tell her, said that if I do something wrong against you, I have to answer to God. And if you do something wrong against me, You have to answer to God because get daughter of God, I'm a son of God. So if you do something wrong, guess what? My father, you're going to answer too. So it keeps us grounded, keep the love strong.
I appreciate you giving that. So this the other question I have to it is you mentioned that about you come from a two-family home. A lot of kids nowadays are being raised by single mothers, not as much by single fathers. And I know that you used to coach football or soccer here in America. And it's what is the value of having a male role model into the children's developments, even if it's not their bio dad? How important is that to help foster that type of growth, exploration, and emotional intelligence?
Very, very, very important. I use the word that very, very important because men has a very significant role in society. Men by nature who were structured or wired to lead, to guide, and to protect, to provide. So these I use these words. I tell people either the four P's or the three P's: provider, protector, and the priest. Or for I always use this to the men when I'm talking to men because I have two daughters of mine, and they love their dad because dad is always there protecting them. Dad is they know that if something happens, they come to dad. Dad is gonna help them, and that they see that as the strongest person in the whole wide world. Because by we are we are built to be that way to protect. We are strong. And coaching at a high school, I see kids that they come from single family homes, and they are single mom. They are trying their best. They are trying their best to raise these kids, but they are not men. They don't have the psychology that men has. They don't have the mentality that men has. Men are more go-getters. They are yes, they are more adventurous and all those kind of stuff. I would tell you there's a girl, she's 21 now, but her mom adopted her when and she has no man in her life. And I met her when I was me and my wife. We met her when she was around teen, and she ended up moving in with us because she see me as a dad figure, and she loved me. I tried to talk to her this morning, sometime this afternoon, anyways, and I love her. She loved me. She's 21 now, and she called. She said, "You're my dad," and she loved me being in her life. And when she had it recently, she was dating a guy. She brought a guy to the house and said, "This is my dad," and so forth. If you do something wrong against me, he's gonna get you and all those kind of stuff. She feel protected, you know. She feel protected, and she knows that I'm there to get her back. So it's very, very important. I'm just a daddy figure in her life, and it's really to for her to have someone to lean upon, knowing that when someone is coming against her, or even I'm not saying something's going to happen to her, but just the assurance, know that a man is there to protect and to guide and to direct. And I teach a lot of life lessons of how you have to try to keep money, how you have to find a job, and how you have to be self-dependent. And last I was talking to her because she was, well, this Saturday morning I'm going to go, and because she live in a town not close to mine, she doesn't attend my church. She attends a different church. She was like, well, I'm going to go to my boyfriend's church this Sunday, but I'm going to go to their house on Saturday night. I'm going to sleep in the house with the family. I said, why would you do that? She was like, no, we're not sleeping together, or we're not having sex or anything of that sort. No. I said, well, first I said I know, but I said no, I don't know. Doing, but that is not right. That is not right. And so I talked to her. I said, what you are doing, you are throwing yourself at this guy. And what you are doing, you are losing your self value. You are losing respect for yourself because he knows that whenever he wants you, he can get you. And how do you expect this boy to respect you? So when I say that, I say, yes, what you are saying is right. It makes sense. You know, this is how a man sees, because you have active mode that is in you. You know, it's naturally in you to protect, to guide, and those kind of stuff. So yeah, in the nutshell, just to put in a simple way, it's very, very. I'm talking about someone who is not my daughter. No bloodline by any means. She's 22 in August. She's not dull. You know, she can make her own decisions. Tells me stuff, and when she tells me stuff, I also still have to talk to her and let her know about her. I love her, and I want the best for her. So it's very important that men. I believe that our society is struggling today because men are not being men. They are not living the life. They are not being role models in society. That's why we see many teenagers and stuff in jail and different places because men are not rising out to be men in society. I believe that 100%. I'm a I, I'm a very old fashioned guy when it comes to men, their responsibility, their roles in society. I'm very, very old fashioned. I want men to be men. You know, we can't be men to know.
One of the one of the characteristics that I've actually seen with men, not in today's day and age, but just in general, the love and respect that they give to the children and the other people that they decide to pull underneath their cloak, metaphorically saying, that they take under their responsibility. They show love in a way that is different, where they have that physical touch. They have the smile. It's the protecting. The also they give this way of, hey, go out there and fail. Go out there and try. Go out there and bust your butt. I got you. Your bike broke? Great. We'll fix it together. This is a learning lesson. You hurt yourself? Outstanding. Good, man. What did you learn from this? Instead of and I feel like in today's society, we have gotten to the point where it's like closed off, where we're not actually meeting the kids where they're at and with that love and respect. It's and the other thing that comes to my mind is I've had this conversation. Boys at a young age are not met with curiosity anymore when they get angry or frustrated or seem like they have the zoomies. Like where a father role, or actually, I didn't even say a father role, but even a mother role, maternal role too, is actually meeting them with curiosity. Like, what is creating that spark? What is creating that desire to go out there and go play football? Why do you want to play volleyball? And actually understanding the child so that you can keep pushing them forward. And I feel like we have stifled the emotional intelligence of kids, and this is what's creating an issue. But I have loved your answers so far, and I want to get back to you. Obviously, you on this path to become a pastor. When you started writing your books, have you learned anything new about yourself, about God, or just in general?
Oh yes, because writing give you the opportunity for you to self and also do more research about yourself. Especially when I'm writing about my own life story, because something happened to you, you go through life adversities and stuff. You take it for you went through this, I went through that, but you don't see where you were and what God did for you, because this is actually God. There's like I don't know if I said before, but I was born with asthma. Okay, and I used to take, which I wrote in my first book. I used to take this small little pill, very, very bitter. I hate that pill with everything I have in me. And there comes this man in later became my spiritual father, my mentor. And he was telling the story about how he also had asthma, and an evangelist poured over water and he drank and he got healing. He was telling me this story about what happened. They say if you believe, you can pour water and we can prove about this stuff and so forth and see what God does. And I had nothing to lose. So guess what? I'm a struggling boy. I need healing. So what? So I and he proved over it, and by the grace of God, over I say almost 30 years now, I've not had asthma. I was able to run around, and with my knee problems the same way, I was able to run around and play soccer. I mean, football, soccer, whatever they call it in the US here now. But uh, things I couldn't do before, and this is the Lord's doing. There's no other way. This is God that brought this healing to me. And after that, also I've had experience of praying for some people too. Not everybody I've prayed for has received healing, but others have received healing because that's the way God works. So writing this kind of stuff, it reveals to you the power that God has. And even here, I was writing about a story of a woman that I was one day on Lord, I was just praying loud, and I never knew nothing. But 2 years afterwards, I was in the church. We were helping for 6 months, and we went out doing evangelism. Then one of the ladies told me that she wanted me to go pray for a lady who's having some spirit and stuff in the house and so forth. We went, and this lady shared with me that that night when 2 years ago, she was about to inject herself with a dose of heroin. She was just done with life, you know. But she heard me praying so loud, and she was scared. So she threw a needle down the toilet. This was 2 years. I had never known nothing. I was just asking Lord praying, you know. So right now, as I'm talking to that lady right now, she's she's free from using drugs. She's a married woman, happy life, and so this is a woman who is on the verge of losing her children. You know, I remember when I was coaching, I coached one of her sons at soccer in high school. One day she came to me, yeah, right after the game, on the middle of the field. She said, "Can you please pray for me, Pastor? I'm still struggling a little bit." I said, "I'll pray for you, you know, by the grace of God." So now, as I'm writing this stuff, I'm recollecting all these memories and the things that has happened and how God works in those seasons and times and in dispensations, how God was working. Yeah. So yeah, that has really helped me to bring more of who God is and how He works in our lives in seasons and times. And also write about a marriage. It challenged me, you know, in my as a husband and as a father, how what I need to do to improve my love for my wife and to improve the life of my children, all those kind of stuff. So yeah, I discovered a lot of stuff about myself, what I do to get better, because guess we are on a journey. So we are not there yet. So yeah, in a nutshell, yeah, I've discovered a lot of stuff about myself and who is and what has been in times in my life, in the past, in the present, with a few.
I love that. So, a question I have is where could people actually watch your sermons or when you actually speak on YouTube, or would they be able to log in live if they wanted to attend your church virtually?
Yes, they can actually. Church DuPont Church is on Facebook. So yeah, live church services on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. So yeah, if someone want to join virtually, yeah, go to church, DUPONT church, and if you type it in, you will see me on Sunday morning, or you can watch some of our past services that we have done too, because many a times our live services stays there for a while. I don't know when it goes, it's taken out, but I know it stays there for a while, so you can. And I'm on Facebook. I have my Facebook account, which is a call to answer. That's my personal account. So I my my book, I do little tips and put on there. So yeah, it's call to answer on Facebook, or you type my name, Solomon Okong on Facebook. You will see my account over there, and I post stuff on videos. I'm on TikTok, so I was Pastor Solomon Okong on TikTok. I put small videos on there. I'm on YouTube as well. I was Pastor Solomon Okong. Yeah. YouTube, I'm not very active on YouTube for some reason, but, but I still have videos over there that I post once in a while. But I'm more active on Facebook and TikTok else. Yeah. So yeah, you type my name on there, you find me. You find videos that I do. You have any questions, you can inbox me. And if you want to buy my books as well, it's on Amazon or Barnes and Nobles or Kobo. You can type www.pastorsolomonokong.com. That's my book website itself. And you can read about myself, my bio, the books I've written so far. And you can, if you want to buy the book, you can click on it. It will take you to the Amazon page or Barnes and Nobles or wherever you want to buy it. Yeah. And there's more.
So I already put you only live once plus one. I put that in the chat, the Amazon one. So someone was actually asking about the journey of life, and I gave her that because she said it would be an interesting read. The do have one more serious question for you. Is how does the relationship with God or God help out with mental health that you have seen and witnessed?
Well, it helps a lot because, as let me tell you my own personal story. Apart from being a child and all those kind of stuff, I'm going to talk about the adult side. Being a pastor, you can go through the season of loneliness. Some days you feel like, well, I have no one to talk to. I have no one to trust. Who is going to listen to me? Who's going to listen to my problems? Who has time for me? You have all this kind of stuff. And you see, you are the one that you're always helping people all the time, and you always need your own time for God to help you. And also being a man, you're always under pressure. The expectation is always high. And the reason why I'm saying there's being a foreigner in the country and coming to the family, there is expectation that is this high. And you always I have to lean upon God. I spend long times. Sometimes I need some lonely time to worship God and read the word of God to encourage me. Know that God is not going to leave me where I am. No matter where I find myself, He's right there with me. And whatever I'm going through is just a season. That's the thing that I hold on to a lot. It's a season I'm going through. So it's not going to be there forever. It's going to pass. So what do? I take my Bible. Sometimes I'll take my own book and I'll page. And man, this is really amazing. I don't believe that I wrote all that, but this is really helpful for me, and I read other books as well. I have a book here about a church that somebody wrote, God's love in the church, and all those things. I like to read. I like to listen to people as well, either videos of encouragement to help me get out of that prison that I'm in, because mental health itself is a prison, and we all face it. We all go through. But if we don't see, like I use the word embrace, we don't see that it's a prison. We embrace the fact it's a prison. We're going to be there forever. And the last thing is to be there, because the longer you are there, then depression comes in. When depression comes in, they just start going downward. We don't want that. So yeah, God is everything to me. He helps me, and what I'm feeling, all the things I like to do, apart from reading, I like to listen to worship songs. Now worshiping, it just takes me from where I am to a different realm. It takes the focus off me and focus on God, and it helps me through the problems that I'm facing. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's what I do. I read and I listen to worship songs. Now praise God. Some of the songs, how God is awesome, God He reigns. You see me bumping my head. Is it close to my bumping my head? Is yeah. I'm getting out of it. I'm getting out of it. Put the joy back.
Love that. The last few questions I have is, what is a message I want people to hear? What is a personal message that you would love to give to somebody for them to hear? And if you were to give the first book of the Bible for somebody to read, if they were actually entering it, a new relationship, what book would
Mhm.
you recommend?
All right. Well, that was a good question. Thank you for asking that. Well, I'll answer the last question first. That will come and answer the if that's okay. Yeah. So if someone want to enter a relationship with God, the first book I always recommend to the people, read the book of John. Because the book of John brings a picture of who Christ was, the reason why God want to save mankind. It brings a clear picture because Jesus Christ, John wrote that In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and through him everything was made. Nothing was made without him. And the world became flesh and dwelt among men. So it brings a picture, but just from the get go, it brings a picture of what the intention of God is for mankind, because we have walked away, we have sinned against him, and we are living a hopeless life. And he saw the need for him to bring redemption for us, to bring redemption through Christ Jesus. And as we read this book, it tells us, it paints a picture for us that God loves us. He has not left us where we were, but his love for us is so great that he brought a mediator to be the propitiation, to be the lawyer between us and him. He brought a solution to us. He wanted a relationship with us. So the book of John paints a picture of what God wants. He wanted a relationship with us, with human beings. So that gives us the focal point, the foundation to build our faith on. And it helps us to grow closer. Because guess what? For me to have a relationship with somebody, I have to know the person really cares about me, the person really loves me. That's what the book of John brings to us. It shows that God really cares about us. God really loves us. That does not mean the other books doesn't. But then the Gospels, they speak a lot of Romans. It's a very strong, powerful book. Arguably one of the greatest books in the Bible. The book of John is for a new believer who is trying to build a relationship with God. It's very, very, very powerful that we read that book, and it will help us and build our relationship, because we are knowing that God really actually cares about us. I know John 3:16 is a very familiar verse that people are used to, and they say all the time that God so loved the world that give us his only begotten Son, that whoso believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. That alone even shows that God is open to anyone who believes, not some, but anyone. It's a universal. So whoever believes. And if I will if I have to say a final word or encourage the person, is this: wherever you are in your walk, it's a season. Whatever struggles that you are facing right now, it's a season. Wherever hole or valley you find yourself right now, it's a season. If you feel stuck somewhere, it's a season. So guess what? Keep your eyes on the Lord. Don't say, I can't go nowhere. I'm stuck right here. I'm a failure. Because guess what? God does not make mistakes. God does not make failures. God made people on his own image, meaning we are perfectly designed to be who we are. And we have to trust God that he's going to help us. If we have struggles in our lives, let's lean upon him and he will help us. If we have confusion in our lives, let's lean upon him. It will help us. If we have questions in our lives, let's lean upon him. It will help us. When I use the word lean upon God, it means lean upon God in prayer, in his word reading, also lean upon the people of God, people that they know, people that they have studied, people that they are the professionals that they have been called to do this job. I use the word call again. Call this job. They can help you through the process that you are in. I'm a I'm a very open-minded person when it comes to faith. I mean, Christianity. If I say open-minded, that does not mean I'm open-minded that every faith is right. No, that is not. I'm a stickler. I know it's only through Christ that we can attain salvation. I stand by that. I'm a pastor, and that's what I preach. That's what I teach. Open-minded in the sense that wherever you are, God can help you. I'll give you one short example. There's a guy not long ago. He attends a different church. He was having some family issues. There was a domestic violence at home, and is it, they restricted him from being close to his family. So he started attending church here, and he started talking to me. He opened up. He told me what is going on in his household. We talked about it. We pray about it. I told him that he should keep faith. God is going to make a way. And we talk on the phone, or he called me or text me, whatever. God being so good, within 6 weeks, the day he went to court, he was sitting there scared. He kept testing me. I thought, God is going to take out the issue. God is going to take out the issue. God. He tested me later. I said, yes, everything is answered. Everything is good. I can go back to my family now. And he has gone back to his old church because now he can attend church with his family. And I've not seen him ever since. He has not even talked to me ever since, because now everything is good. It doesn't bother me, because guess what? My job is for me to help others to be on their feet. So wherever you are, just a season, okay? Just keep your head up.
Amen. I appreciate that. And I guess the last save round is what message would you want to give to anybody or even your message? Just your personal message, the last personal message.
My last personal message is you are not, whoever, not a mistake. Made you for a reason. God made you for, as the psalmist said in Psalm 134, the verse 4, fearfully made. So as you walk this walk, set your eyes, like I said before, you might feel stuck right now, but guess what? If you open that door, you can see outside. You can see clearly. You will see that God's plans that He has for you has not changed. So hold on to, just trust His ways, and He will see you to the end. And if you need help, feel free to reach out. Like I said, embrace to know that you need help. And once you need help, you will be able to get the answers that you need. Don't say that I'm okay when you're not okay. Be sincere to you. If you are sincere to yourself, that's only what I talk to people all the time, either being friends or or family or church folks or whoever I made. I said, be sincere to yourself. Know where you are in your own walk. And when you know that you are struggling, when you know that I need help, then reach out for help. Reach out for help. Don't say I got it. You know you don't have it. Don't say it's okay, because okay is not good enough. Just reach to the highest point, marching forward, and keep reaching out, and swim to the and stay dry. And God,
Hey, Solomon, thank you so much for your time. Like I said before, your name reminds me of a lion, Solomon Okong. Okong. Dude, it is just the epic name right there. I appreciate your time, sir.
Amen.
Hey, Solomon, how did you think it went?